Today I've got a new Larrivee in the store, one of our newest lines, and I'm comparing it to one of the all-time greats, so stick around. How's it going, y'all? This is Cooper Greenberg here in Alamo Music Center, San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you have not already, please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. Like, comment, whatever you want to do. It's very nice. So, like I said, and like you may have seen so far on the channel, Chris has rolled out some of the new Larrivee guitars that we've gotten. This is the newest acoustic line that we've picked up, and we're big fans. We've been kind of working on this for a while. And this guitar is eerily similar to this guitar. So I think it's very worth kind of comparing, talking about it, because if you're in the market for something like this, you may come across both of these. First off, Larrivee is an American-made, previously Canadian-made, but now American-made acoustic guitar, and I guess electric guitar, but we're diving into the acoustics. They're a brand that does a lot of very cool things, kind of flies under the radar sometimes because it's a smaller name, but they have been around for quite a while. And, you know, they kind of divide their lineup into more contemporary stuff, more vintage style, traditional stuff. This would be on the more traditional side of things, which I think makes it an even better comparison to the Martin that we got over there. This is the D-44. And as we picked up the line, I'm kind of going through, every single brand has their own way of talking about things, right? And so if you've seen the videos that Chris made, he went into the 3 series, the 03, whatever you want to call it. That would be more of the contemporary side and a little bit lower end than this. However, if you're looking at the 44s, 40s, 44, 50, 60, those are going to be the guitars that are on the more traditional kind of old school side of things. That has to do with bracing, kind of some of the trim out, the headstock shape, and all that kind of thing. So the D-44 that I've got right here is offered in mahogany and rosewood. This is the rosewood version, East Indian rosewood, and that's a Sitka spruce top. Now, to my knowledge, you can get a D-40 rosewood, you can get a D-44 rosewood. The main difference there is going to be satin versus gloss. This is a gloss guitar. I think at the price point, most people want something that's going to be gloss. This comes in, I think, right around $32.50, something around there. So a little bit less expensive than the Martin, but we will get to the Martin. So Sitka spruce, East Indian rosewood, Dreadnought. Purfling-wise on here, you got kind of the rope look, definitely a nod to a bit of the herringbone, kind of old school acoustic style. Ebony fingerboard and bridge. One of the things that I really love about these guitars that, you know, I think every single guitar that we've gotten in our first shipment of Larrivees, these are all wood-bound guitars. So this is maple binding on the body and the fingerboard, which you don't typically get, say on a Martin HD-28. That's got plastic binding on the body, no binding on the neck. This has got wood binding on the body and the neck. It's got a nice little kind of simple diamond inlay, mahogany neck. Now, for some people, you may enjoy this, others you may not, but this comes stock with an 1 11/16 inch nut width. That's a bone nut, and it's an angled nut, so it's already on my good side, you know what I'm saying? But headstock, it's a familiar shape. It's got open gear tuners. The tuners are really pretty. They got a nice little etching kind of thing on them that you see if you look up close. But in terms of the bracing in this guitar, one of the big differences between, I'm just going to say the modern and the vintage. I know that's not the wording that they use, but it's easy for me to communicate. So bracing-wise, this has got a bracing pattern that's way more similar to Martin style. This is what they call their hybrid scallop bracing, and it's got, you know, it's scallop X bracing, but it's got the sort of asymmetrical tone bar type thing going on down here. So I think it is a better comparison to that guitar. Now let's talk about that guitar. This is a 2025 Martin HD-28, spruce top, rosewood back and sides, antique white binding, herringbone trim around the top. As an HD-28 is, this is scalloped X bracing, but you know, the D-28 also has scallop bracing now, so what's the diff? This one's got diamonds and squares. This one's got diamonds. Angled nut, of course, bone, and that's a headstock that you recognize. These are open gear Grovers on here. And, you know, we've talked ad nauseum about the new changes to the HD-28 and the whole standard series. Golden era scallop bracing pattern now on these, and a couple other changes, just kind of keeping with the more golden era focus type thing. But at the end of the day, if you're watching this, you may know that stuff already. You may be more interested in hearing the difference. These are very, very close in their foundations, but their sound is quite different from one another. So let's take a listen. So there you have it, a little taste of both. You should be very familiar with what an HD-28 sounds like at this point if you watch our channel ever, but this is the first time we've shown off this guitar, and this is one that I've gravitated towards in the store since we've gotten Larrivee, just because it fits a profile that I like. It is something that I think is familiar to a lot of people with a little bit of a different feel. There's a couple things on this, like this is a gloss neck, the Martin has a satin neck. This is a more narrower or more narrow nut width, which some people might like. This comes with a hard shell case. It's made in the USA. It's all solid wood, and it is wood bound, which I think is very cool. So here's the thing. Price on this is $32.49. As of right now, the price on a Martin HD-28 is $34.99. So you got like a $250 difference between the two. And for a lot of people that are looking for a guitar of this caliber, you may kind of see that as their price the same, right? The $250 once you're in the $3,500 sort of range is not going to make a huge difference. Why would you go for this guitar? I think it sounds radically different than the Martin does. There's just a more pronounced brightness to this guitar. The Martin has a very classic sound, and yes, this is a more traditional focused Larrivee, but I do think it's got a little bit more of that kind of breathy openness. It's got a little bit more chime on the high end, and it seems to cut through quite a bit. I think the HD-28, is a lot of people's favorite guitar. It is the guitar that often, if somebody's looking for a sort of an heirloom piece that they're going to buy, play forever, give, down the line in their family, the HD-28 is kind of the go-to, and it's sort of my reference point for anything that is a Spruce Rosewood Dread. I think this one, like many others that we've talked about on the channel, Ferk makes a great Dread, and this kind of gives me that sort of vibe. It's the traditional aesthetic, it's the sound and the build that we all love, but it does give its own voice because Larrivees have their own voice, just like Martins have their own voice, and Taylors and Gibsons and Ferks and Yamahas and everything like that. So if you are the type of person that's maybe looking for this type of guitar, maybe you're looking for a triple O or an OM or something different, Larrivee makes this series and this look in all different kinds of body shapes. They've got their own proprietary shapes that you can get, and they've also got the classics, the single O, double O, triple O, 12 fret, OM. There's a lot to choose from, and I think for the type of people that we sometimes interact with that like, hey, I love the HD-28, but I'm looking at maybe the Alvarez Yairi stuff, some higher end Yamahas, this fits right in with that camp as something that's got its own little voice that may appeal to you a little bit more, and something that you can really trust the build quality on. And I'm just a fan. I think it's very cool. It's very hard for me to say that anything is better than the HD-28, but it's easier for me when it's honest to say this sounds different and this appeals to a person's ear more than that one. And also playability-wise, it plays different. So I think this is a great option. I also think that the entire Larrivee line is something worth looking at because they do have more availability of body shapes in every single kind of trim package and series that they have. So it's really fun. We got some more that we're going to show you that are wildly different than this, and it's just a good time. It's nice to have some fresh blood in the game that we can talk about. So if you're interested in this guitar, it's on our website, alamomusic.com. If you're interested in an HD-28, we've always got those. So come talk to us. If you want to get more in depth with the specs, do comparisons, you can do that on our website, or you can just do that with us. If you want to text us, call us, email us, whatever you want to do, we're happy to talk about them. You can't make a bad choice between these two, and it's been really fun seeing the Larrivees that people sort of fall in love with, both that work here and the people that have bought them so far. They're a cool brand and very nice people. So check them out. Check out our website. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.